10864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
Touchdown, Oregon. Byron Cardwell. That was quick.
We have to push ourselves to be the best that we want to be.
Pressure, steps up, goes down. Sack Brandon Dorless.
We think iron sharpens iron, right? You want to create that competitive environment. You have to do things that are hard.
Way down for Thornton. He's got it. He's going to score. What a stop by Oregon's Noah Sewell. Oh, what a throw. What a catch. Terrence Ferguson.
I'm excited about the energy that our coaches bring and the energy our players bring day in and day out.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Ducks football.
Thank you and welcome to week number 2 here on our Coaches Show. I'm Jerry Allen with Joey Mack. Oh, and Georgie's here this week.
Hey. You're back.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
welcome back.
I miss you guys.
It is
Welcome
great to
back.
see you.
You were the advance crew.
Nice
That's
to be
right.
here. Yeah, I checked it out. I did. The restaurants mostly, but I checked it out ahead of time. So.
Hey, you went to the College Football Hall of Fame.
I
though.
did.
That was cool.
That was cool. There was a lot of great stuff back there. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Atlanta's a good city. Good city.
Tough trip to get any way around it other than to say that it was just not a very good ball game for the Oregon Ducks. Got beat up pretty good by what is the defending national champion, Georgia Bulldogs, and they I've heard a lot of people say this week they're not rebuilding it, and they just reloaded. It was obvious.
Yeah, and when you have a team of that level like Georgia, and they play well and you don't, it can really get out of hand like it did. And again, they show why they are the defending champion, why they're going to threaten it again this year, and you got a taste of that type of football. But this Oregon team's a better team than what they showed on Saturday, and I can't wait to see them get out on the field this week. Yeah.
It's all about the response. I think that's going to be the theme
exactly
of this week. You know, it's going to all be about the response. We can all sit here and look back on the week that was. We know that things didn't go well, and yeah, I think that the team had a little bit of chip on their shoulder this week in practice. I've kind of felt that around the practices, haven't you guys? I mean, I feel like it has been sort of a chip on the shoulder response. You know, one of the things that Coach Lanning, I'm sure we'll talk about coming up today, is the way that Oregon is practicing. That's certainly going to be a big deal. And look, this is an Eastern Washington team, guys, that they're no slouch.
Right.
I mean, this is a good program at that level. Duck fans have seen them in recent years. Just 7 years ago they were here. And what do you know? Vernon Adams, he played there.
Yeah.
Played for the Ducks. I
They
mean,
always score points.
They always score points.
Throw the ball all over
Yeah.
the field.
Yeah, so, you know, I think that this is a great home opener in that it's all going to be about the response, and this is a good opponent. I think this is a good opponent. You don't overlook these guys.
I like the response. That's exactly right. How do you you never accept a loss,
Sure.
but how do you respond to that? Do you bow your back? Do you get up? Do you work harder? Do you do the things you didn't do, or do you start hanging your head? And I don't think Coach Dan Lanning is going to let this team, and his staff is certainly not going to let them hang their head. So they are already working at the issues that they had. You know, not playing hard, tackling, those types of things, and they're working on those every day now.
Yeah.
And out watching practice, there's no doubt their heart is in it.
Yeah, I can't wait to, again, have him talk a little bit about what he did today after practice, and that is, you know, you can't just work on what you do well. You got to work on what you don't do well. And, you know, everybody has weaknesses in areas in that type of deal, and it exposes itself on film afterwards when coaches have a chance to break it down. So you get to work on that stuff and get better at it immediately.
I think that this is a week also that leadership, we talked about this before we started the show. This is a week that leadership, I think, really, really matters. You know, and there are so many veterans on this team. We talked about that heading into last week's game, that there are a lot of veterans on this roster. I think leadership's really important, and guys, and maybe that's a perfect way to tell folks that Cam McCormick's going to be on the Coaches Show coming up a little bit later on too.
Yeah.
And he's going to be our player guest tonight. And Cam is, I mean, you talk about a guy that's gone through adversity. You talk about a guy that's been through the wars, injuries, coaching changes, tough losses, great wins. I mean, that's a guy that I think everyone's going to be looking towards this week. So I'm excited to talk to him. I think that this is going to be a fun show. How
do you respond? But I'll tell you what, some fans say, gosh, what happened? What's going on? And then you got to sit back and go, well, let's see. The coaching changes that Oregon has been through over the last 5 years, COVID, I mean, just in a nutshell, what has happened to this program, and that they're still competing and now have, I think, one of the best head coaches they've had, in a long, long time. But I've loved every one of them. I just think he's special. They're going to respond, and everything's going to be okay. I mean, I think that's the sky is falling. There are a lot of fans that do that. It's not the sky; it's raindrops. It's going to be okay.
Or 100-degree sunshine.
Well, okay, you go with that too, which is why we're wearing yellow.
That's right. Change
Saturday.
to yellow.
Yeah.
Put the black stuff away. Changing to yellow for this game. Literally, though, for the Heat. That was why the decision was made.
Pac-12 took it on the chin this week. I asked Georgie, before we went on, would you rather be where Oregon is right now, a little embarrassed about that loss, or Utah having an opportunity to make this a special season that maybe is on the edge right now? Tough when the West Coast doesn't show up. The rest of the nation just goes, well, okay, where's USC?
Yeah, I don't want to be either one of those.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, what was thought to be the two best teams, potentially two of the best three teams in the league, and they don't perform well. But there were teams that did perform well.
Yes, yeah.
The Arizona Wildcats, the Huskies got it back together. I mean, there are teams.
Yeah, Oregon State did well. So this week will tell us a lot more as you get into the season. One game does not a season make, and you learn a lot about yourself and how much you change and advance and get better from week 1 to week 2. I think every coach will say that. All right, we got a head coach coming up. Dan Lanning is going to join us. Cam McCormick. You talk about responding. There's a guy that could have given up. How many times?
Gosh.
Could have given up.
One of the things I'm going to ask him, because I was reading through and trying to remind myself of all the different pieces of adversity that Cam has had to face. And I got to the point where it was a long enough list that I said, I'm going to mess this up. I'm just going to ask Cam to do it. I mean, just asking Cam to just tell his story, alone. That tells you something about the kind of guy that he is.
Well, you could almost do an ESPN movie about what he's been through.
No kidding.
Pretty heartwarming.
Yeah,
pretty heartwarming. All right, let's get our first break in here. Coach going to be coming up. Cam McCormick a little later on in the show. Wear yellow this week for a 5:30 kickoff at Autzen Stadium. And fans, after a tough loss like this, it's easy to come and show up when you got a big win and things are rolling. But when a team loses a game like this, they need help. They need your support. And a brand new head coach wants to see all we've said about Autzen Stadium. Is it really true? Do the fans really show up? And is it loud? Let's show them Saturday against Eastern Washington. Let's take the break around Country Financial Studios, and we're back with more after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
The ins and outs of all things Ducks. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey. Joey will join us a little later on the show when we get Cam McCormick in. I'm anxious to hear him and what he says about his life so far. He's pretty remarkable. I remember tearing up last year a little bit when he came into the Ohio State game. It was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Cam McCormick is playing in this game. And then he went down and didn't get to finish. So that he started the season again this year strong and healthy. It's just, it's heartwarming. It really is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a certain brotherhood and camaraderie you get when you're with the team all the time. I mean, that's the thing about it. I think that one of the things that probably keeps him going, he knows he's limited from a standpoint of the way he used to be versus the way that leg is a little bit of a challenge now. But at the same time, I tell you, when you're around the guys day in and day out and they become your extended family, it's where you want to be. It's where you want to be and part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, looking at stats, and we'll talk to Coach about this when he comes in. And when he comes in, we're going to have him pop right on with us. Last year, I don't know if Joey or somebody told me that Georgia limited teams to an average of 9 first downs a game. That's what teams could get against Georgia's defense. Oregon had 21 first downs on Saturday. So when you look at that final score, not good, no doubt about it, not trying to make it nice or feel good, but you look for things that you did well, and that's one of the things they did well. They ran the ball efficiently. They moved the ball between the red zones, and they limited Georgia's running attack.
Yeah, particularly in the first half, Jerry. I mean, frankly, that's what I took a look at. As everybody saw what Georgia did from a standpoint of third down conversions, and 9 for their first 9. I think they ended up 9 for 10. But you look at Oregon's third down conversions in that first half. I think it was either 5 for 7 or 6 for 8. I mean, so Oregon was again very good in third downs, and that's how you get first downs, obviously, to add up to 21. But it was about finishing those drives, and that's one thing Oregon didn't do in that first half, didn't in the second half in particular. And first downs, yards, those are all great, but they've got to equal points, and they didn't on Saturday.
And another aspect of the game, which the season starts out, no coach would tell you he wants even one penalty. Not even one. 5 penalties for the game. In that kind of a ball game, 2 of them were false starts.
Yeah.
So, there were bright spots. There's no doubt about it. And here he comes right
on
now.
The run, I'll tell you.
His whole life right now is on the run. I see him out in practice, and after practice running to the media and then running upstairs.
Good to get your time, Coach. Thank you.
Coach Dan Lanning is with us. Gosh, first of all, I know your time is just wrapped and you're trying to prepare while putting everything that just happened behind you. And that's part of my question is you don't just put a game like that behind you and forget about it. You use it and teach off of it.
Absolutely. That stuff's always going to be the forefront of my mind because it's what you put on film and it's what you're going to be attacked with the rest of the season. So learning moments, right? It's an opportunity to take something that happened and grow from it.
Talk about, if you would, Coach, I think it's important for people to understand. I've had a lot of people ask me after a game, after an away game, home game, what have you, what does the coaching staff, what do you do, win or loss, in the evaluation process? How do you go through that? I know I've seen you as a coaching staff on the plane, looking at your computers, watching the replay, evaluation, and on Sunday with the players. Go through that, if you would.
Yeah, we do a pretty in-depth write-up. Obviously, we evaluate every single play of the game. We grade every play, look for corrections, and try to find some schematic errors, and then find the things that we need to grow. And I think we always talk about the next day after. That Monday for us is the day that we go to the doctor, right? And we take all those things that we wrote up, every single play, every detail. What was the preparation errors for that game? Where were our personnel matchup errors? Where do we what critical penalties did we have that we need to make sure that we coach? We spend a lot of time on each piece of that, and then even going into the travel, like what went well with the travel, what was poor, how was the TSA check, all those things might seem minute, but we'll go into a lot of detail and have a pretty clear write-up. So if we face an opponent again down the road, or just to grow in our own, hey, here's one thing that we would do different on third down prep. Here's one thing we would do different in the red area, and let that carry over, to future opponents.
I know you said after the ball game, your locker room they weren't happy with themselves. They were irritated. They were embarrassed. They wanted to play better and they didn't. When they got a chance to look at the film and you all as coaches said, hey, here's what you did and didn't do, how did they respond?
Our guys have been extremely receptive to going to work and getting better. The message has been really clear this week. It's do simple better, right? And that's what they've been focused on. We're pulling, drill work from individual, letting it carry over to a group period in practice and then over to a team period. And it's really just great examples of guys saying, hey, here's something I wasn't fundamentally as good at that I need to be. And here's a way that I'm improving it and growing it. And we're showing those and pointing out those moments. But our guys have been really receptive, super hungry to get better. Today wasn't the same. I thought really yesterday's practice was probably our best practice of the year. I think that's a real clear indication of our guys wanting to get better. I thought today wasn't. There were some moments that were good, but certainly a lot of moments of growth. So tomorrow we got to put a really good one together.
Early in the season, late in the season, everywhere in between, there's adversity from time to time. And your leadership is really important when it comes to that adversity, how the leaders step forward this week so far.
Yeah, I think our guys have done a really good job. We've had some guys stand up, call their teammates out, hey, what's something that you can do better? Where's an area that you can grow? And then the next day, somebody's calling them out. And I think that's the hardest thing about being a leader is, when you really get up on a stage and you say, hey, this is what we need you to do, right? The next day, people are going to look at you with a critical eye, and they have high expectations for you. But I think that takes courage as a player to say, you know what, I'm willing to call something out. I'm willing to make sure that we do this better, right? It takes discipline and courage to be able to do that. And then you know what? Sometimes you're going to mess up, and somebody's going to call you out, and that's okay. But do you hear the message, not the tone? Are you receptive to growth? That goes all the way back to our growth mindset and what that really means.
And I know in that game there were points and things you're looking at your team you want them to get better at. Tackling was one big issue, and I heard you talk about that. And since the NCAA really reduced practices and a lot of the hitting goes on, is it harder for guys to really understand and learn how to tackle without tackling in practice the way they used to?
The game certainly changed. It's not what it used to be, but to me that's probably an excuse for somebody to lean on. We didn't tackle well, and we got to learn how to practice it and train it better. Is the practice the same as it was 20 years ago? No, it's not the same. These guys don't fold up their helmet and put it in their pocket after practice. They're wearing some real gear, and the guys are faster and stronger. But they've done a good job of replicating what tackling looks like this week.
Good.
I don't want to ask you about the 30-second snippet I saw of you after practice today, but you talked about players wanting to do well, but wanting to do well and going out working on the things that maybe you don't do well are really important. So talk about that just a little bit without firing you up, okay? I thought it was a great point that you made today.
I mean, ultimately, if you're really in growth mindset, you have to work on your weaknesses, right? You have to look for opportunities to grow and get better at what you're not great at. And for us to be the team that we can be, the best version of ourselves, we got to go improve our weaknesses. And that takes discipline from the coaching staff and the players to be able to go out there and execute. But I think there's a lot of people that, you talk about somebody's diet. It's a lot more fun to eat dessert, right, than vegetables, right? But we all know that vegetables are necessary. It's the same thing when it comes to football, right? There's some things that are required that are necessary for us to be a good football team, and we have to do those things well.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know.
Vegetables.
I eat a lot of ice cream bars on the plane flight, so normally it's
there you go.
What he's doing right there. You've said it. Talk about a teaching moment. You've said you cannot get too high for high, and you can't get the lows too low. You got to,
right.
How do you keep a group of young men from folding under the pressure of something like Saturday's game and wanting to understand it's just one game, we got to play again?
It's really about focus, right? It's really about detailed focus on the moment at hand, living in the present, not the past, not the future, living in today. And I think our guys have done a good job of that, of being receptive. But every once in a while, we all need a reset button. We all need that opportunity to go back and say, okay, where are we at right now, and how can we affect right now?
All right, we're going to get a quick break in here and come back with more. It's our Pepsi Coaches Interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. GoDucks drink Pepsi. Here in our Country Financial Studio, Jerry Jorge and head coach Dan Lanning. We're right back with more after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans, and lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
More Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey after this timeout. You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show. Jerry Allen, Jorgie, and head coach Dan Lanning. It's our Pepsi coaches interview. And, Coach, I'm mentioning the game last because I want to highlight a couple of things that I thought were interesting. 21 first downs against that Georgia defense. And your offensive line, I thought, Jorgie, we talked about it, they operated pretty well.
Yeah, they certainly had some good moments within that game. I thought that last drive it looked like we were going to have an opportunity to cap it off with a score. We didn't quite finish that the way we wanted to, but there was definitely some highlights there with the offensive line. I think there's going to be some opportunities to obviously grow from that game in a lot of ways, and the offensive line knows that as well, but they had some good moments.
Yeah, no sacks, not very many tackles for loss. I found it kind of interesting, Coach, that you got 5 really good quality running backs that you played all 5 of those in that game, which you don't see very often, but they got to be performing at a pretty high level to earn that type of playing time between the 5 of them.
Yeah, common phrase for us is if you're good enough, you're old enough. And we have a really good stable of backs that we think can help us. I think we're still trying to figure out exactly how each piece fits to the puzzle. That's hard. There's times you can run out there with more than one back on the field at the same time too, and I think that's something we'll do carrying forward at some point. But it's a good group.
Your first game period with the coaching staff, new coaching staff, communication, guys upstairs on the field. To us in the booth, it looked like things in communication really ran pretty well. I mean, there are times when you see teams have to call timeouts because they're not getting plays in or things aren't right. I didn't see that much on Saturday.
Yeah, operationally, I don't think there were a lot of faults from a communication standpoint. There's certainly some moments we want to have back and a lot of opportunities for growth, but that probably isn't falling the category.
Okay. I must admit, Jamal Hill, Justin Flo.
Yeah.
They stood out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. From a tackle standpoint, having 21 tackles between those two guys, they played. They had to play a lot of football, obviously, and a lot of field, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I think both those guys would tell you they wish they could play better, and I know they both can. But it's nice having some guys back there in the back end that can get them done.
It's interesting, too, and I hear you saying it, no matter, you talk about the offensive line or a receiver or the 2 DBs, no matter who did what appeared to us to be well, you guys are breaking down film saying, guys, we all got to get better.
Yeah, we haven't arrived. We didn't perform to our standard in game 1. So each one of us, coaches, players, everybody in our organization has an opportunity to get better, and nobody went out there and played 100%. So while we could certainly sit here and say, hey, look, this is a great moment, let's be honest, that's not our standard. That's not what we want. A tackle down the field for 10-yard gain is not a good play for us. So we're looking for opportunities to get better and play, to the level that we think we can perform consistently. That involves putting points on the board and keeping points off the board.
Gotcha. We're going to want a little sneak peek here in a minute on Eastern Washington, but really now it's a focus about it's you guys focusing on yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Oregon versus Oregon.
Response.
That's where we're at for sure.
But it is Eastern Washington ahead for the fans this Saturday, an FCS team that they don't play like an FCS team. They're going to throw the ball over the field. A little bit on them as you get ready for them?
Yeah, they're just extremely talented, and they have a history of playing, bigger opponents really well. I think they're always in a one-score game, if not giving, the other team an opportunity to go win. I think they average well over 30 points a game against FBS opponents, which is a pretty, impressive stat. They move the ball well, and they can score. Really well. They do a good job of airing it out and utilizing the run game as well. So got a lot of respect for Coach Best and the job that he's done there. I think it'll be a fun opportunity. Probably the thing I'm most anxious about is seeing that Autzen atmosphere, that stadium lit up with people in there, getting the smell of the pregame and all those pieces.
Yeah, a little crowd noise to upset all-name team Gunnar Talkington. I mean, that's one of the,
definitely an all-name team.
It's an all-name team, but he's a guy who threw it last week, ran it last week, a lot like Stetson Bennett from a standpoint of mobile and just obviously taking the right angles at those guys.
Yeah, he's an operator. He can extend plays with his feet. We have to have a great scramble plan for him because I think he did a good job, himself when he didn't have something there, he's able to tuck the ball and take off and run. But he throws it well. They're a big eye violation team. They'll get you on double moves. If your eyes are in the backfield, they'll hit you on a block and go or a wheel route. So I think we have to be really disciplined with our eyes, and he does a great job of operating that system.
And one of the questions I want Joey Mack to ask you, or hopefully somebody will, is what was the experience like running down the tunnel with the team for the first time in Autzen Stadium? I'm anxious to,
Yeah, I can't wait for that moment. I can't wait for that moment. I know how special it is, for our players, and I'm certainly excited to do that this weekend.
All right. Well, there's a guy that just came in we're going to talk to in a few minutes. We talked about him, and you talk about not quitting and not giving up. Cam McCormick, poster child for never give up.
Resilient.
He's
got it.
I mean, it was so pleasing not only to see him practice in the fall, but actually come into that ball game on Saturday. That's something special.
Yeah, well, and he's got a lot of big moments ahead of him moving forward, too. We're excited to see those. But his leadership's been really pleasant. He's obviously got a great work ethic, and he's been through some adversity, and I think a lot of young guys can learn from that.
Well, we're going to let you get out of here then, and you can swap seats. We'll take the break and come back. Coach, thanks for running all the way over. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Short run. I needed the exercise. You guys have a good one.
Thank you, Coach. Pepsi Coach's interview. We're going to come back with Cam McCormick. Joey Mack will have him right here on our Coach's Show in the Country Financial Studios. We're having fun tonight. We're only halfway through it. Come back and join us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, I'm Joey Mack. It's our coaches show, and Cam McCormick is here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, first and foremost, have you ever been in here before? I honestly couldn't remember if we had you on a coaches show.
I don't think I've ever been in here before.
Okay, that's on me. I need you to know that's a mistake on my part, so welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, so I was talking about this on the show earlier, and I started making a list of the adversity that you faced in your life and your career. So I'm going to start there because as I was going through it, I realized I'm going to miss something. And that just is a testament to how much you've had to overcome. You're smiling as I say that now, but boy, if I asked like 18-year-old Cam McCormick about the amount of adversity that you have faced, what would you say to that guy?
To keep going, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing. I think that it's made me stronger going through all these adversities, all these injuries, and it just made me who I am today. So I'm just grateful for that.
Can you take fans through like the 2-minute version of your life from being like 17 until today?
High school, tore my ACL, redshirted, played 2017, broke my leg 2018. Had complications with the surgery in 2019, complications with the surgery in 2020. Finally was good to go in Ohio State, tore my Achilles, and now we're here.
Wow. So I had it all written down, like I said. And just hearing you go through it, I just can't even imagine. So how did you get through it? I mean, how did you go through all of that?
My teammates, my family, just my will to want to play football, I think. I love football. I love being able to compete, and I love being out there and just being able to physically dominate somebody on the field.
Where'd it come from? Where'd your love of football come from?
I don't know. Just watching it growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was no like click moment where you were like, I'm really good at this and I want to do this forever?
Maybe like in high school.
Yeah.
I think high school is really when I thought I think I could be really good at football. And then I got out here and I, constantly got better every year, and now I'm here.
So growing up in Bend also, I mean, what was that like for you, and then getting that call that you got a scholarship offer for the Ducks?
It was awesome. I always did want to come to Oregon to play football, and getting that opportunity, I jumped on it right away. I committed early, and I was happy with my commitment all the way up, and I'm still happy with it to this day.
What else did you play growing up? Were there other sports?
Baseball.
Yeah.
Every little kid plays soccer.
Sure.
Was doing that, but baseball, basketball, really.
What was your second best sport?
Probably basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what position you played in baseball.
First base.
First base?
Yeah.
I feel like you could have been a pitcher.
Nah, inaccurate.
Really?
It very.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been God, I just feel like you could have had the build, but was it the accuracy? What was it?
It was the accuracy.
All right.
It wasn't accurate.
I can get behind that. Tell us about your family, Cam. I mean, you've touched on them a few different times as I've seen you do interviews with the general media, and it's the first time we've had you on this show. So tell us about your family. I know that they've meant a lot to you.
Yeah, my mom, my stepdad, my grandma, they've basically raised me. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be able to go through all these struggles without them. They've been in my corner through every single one. I can't thank them enough for that. But they love me. They support me. And then, whatever decisions I choose to make, they will support me and be there for me 100%.
That's cool. So if there's one silver lining that's come from your injuries, it's been that you've been able to take advantage of your academic commitments, I would imagine. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I was able to – I got my undergrad in 3 years, and I just graduated with my master's degree in spring. So
right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Well done. So I was going to ask, how many extra classes have you gotten a chance to take? Can you quantify that? You're smiling, laughing about it.
A lot of classes. I feel like –
Are you an expert in school now?
I'm schooled out, in my opinion. I don't think I can't go for the PhD. So
no Dr. McCormick in your future.
No, I'm not.
You could have done it.
Potentially, I could have.
You could have done it. First game at Autzen since 2018, if I'm not mistaken, where you're going to be able to play, right?
Yeah, I played a little bit I played 2 snaps against Fresno State, but I think this will probably be this is going to be my big game in Autzen Stadium since 2018.
Butterflies?
Not really.
Really?
No.
We were talking with Coach Lanning, the guys were, about that run down the tunnel. You really looking forward to that for this one?
I am. It has some meaning to me, especially this year. I'm super excited for the opportunity.
Yeah. Coming off of last week, we were talking with Coach Lanning about this too. This is kind of a leadership type game. Safe to say you're one of the big leaders on this team. Talk to us about that. How do you embrace that, being a leader on this squad, especially heading into a home opener this time around?
I think we just have to know what we're playing for and the bigger picture here. Obviously last week was rough, but it's about how we bounce back and how we can play for each other this next week. Fix the small things that we didn't have in the first game, and so we can come into this next game fully prepared and ready to go. Obviously, Autzen is our home and we protect our home. We have to show up. We can't, go out there and play like we did last week. That's just not acceptable for this team.
How do you describe the Autzen experience to people that haven't ever seen a game at Autzen?
It's loud, it's fun, and you have to come.
You just have to be there.
Yeah, you have to be there. it's definitely you have to be there.
I like that answer. So we talked before about playing in that big Ohio State game. That environment, something with really loud people. How do you compare the two?
Well, there's a lot more people in the shoe.
Sure.
So it's just obviously louder, but Autzen does get really loud. The fans are amazing, and it's great to go out there on Saturdays and hear them cheering for us.
All right, I want to get a timeout. When we come back, talk a little bit more about you, the tight end group, a little bit more football, and then a really cool moment that a lot of fans you're going to see on Saturday. Thanks to Cam. We're going to tell you about that when we come back. It is the Coaches Show, brought to you by Toyota on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's the Toyota Coaches Show. He's Cam McCormick, everybody, one of the vets on this team, and I still can't believe this is the first time that you've ever been on the Coaches Show. But you've done a pregame interview with Terry, though. I'm almost positive that you've done a pregame interview with Terry. No?
I don't think so.
Okay, we have completely struck out. Let me apologize on behalf of the entire Oregon fan base because I messed that up, and we've never had you for an interview. We were just talking during the break. So you were born and raised in Arizona.
Yep.
But we list Bend as your hometown. Tell us about that.
Just moved to Bend to go during high school.
Yep.
The beginning of high school, wanted to get out of Arizona with the heat and everything. So we had a family that lived in Bend. We visited. Family really enjoyed it, so we moved up there, went to high school. It's growing.
Now you're an Oregonian.
Now I'm an Oregonian, yeah.
So at what point did you feel like I'm an Oregonian now? Did you have that click moment?
A couple years ago, probably.
Really?
Like during COVID, I'm like, this is like my 5th year in college.
Yeah. So the reason I asked that question, so I grew up in Santa Cruz in California, came to school here. So I moved here when I was 18. I've been here now 11 years. Mm-hmm. And I've always wondered, like, at what point am I allowed to say I'm an Oregonian? Is it like when you've spent half your life in a place? Like I just don't know the answer to that.
Maybe half your life. That's what I'd say. I'm getting there. So
you're getting there.
I'm almost an Oregonian.
There you go. There you go. All right. So this is something that's pretty special. Have talked a number of times about the tragedy that you guys have had to go through with the loss of Spencer Webb. This upcoming Saturday, everyone, Cam is going to wear the number 18. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Cam, what led you to do that?
I was really close to Spencer, and obviously the tight end room, a lot of those guys look up to me. And I had talked to them, and I asked them, like, hey, do you guys think it would be all right if I wore Spencer's jersey for this game? And they're like, we wouldn't want anybody else to. They know we were super close. We had both overcome a lot of things, and we were on the, over the hump to, finally be able to play this game together this season. We were super excited about finally being able to play together. We played a little bit against Ohio State together, but I had got injured. But I'm feeling good this year, and this really would have been our first game, really playing together. So I felt like it was only right to honor him wearing his jersey. I know he had switched to number 4, but all the tight ends, we really know him as 18. So I felt like it would be great to, honor his legacy by wearing his jersey this week.
That's going to be powerful. I can only imagine the emotions that are going to go through your mind when you put that jersey on. That's
the first game was rough too. I had a lot of emotions in that first game. A first for everything is very tough. Not having him and having the tight ends and all the guys on my team, they're there for me, and that's the biggest thing.
How tight is this tight end room?
Really tight. I'd say this is the tightest that I've seen the tight end room in a very long time.
It's amazing when stuff happens, right? Something tragic. It can really bring people together. It feels like you guys have experienced that.
Yeah, and I think I've taken being one of the older guys in the room, I've wanted to create a room that's welcoming, from everybody coming in, a freshman to, super senior, I guess, whatever I am now. I just want the room to be super connected. I want it to be a safe space for everybody, and that we can all, hang out there, and like that we're a close group. We do a lot of things together outside of football, and in football we always are hanging out with each other, chopping it up and just having a good time.
It feels like Coach Drew Maringer has really embraced that.
Yeah,
he's
done a great job. We talk about connection, and I think from Coach Maringer to the newest guys into the room and the oldest guys in the room, we're super connected. We all respect one another, and we keep it real with each other.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of all Duck fans, in all seriousness, thank you for being that way, and I think it means a lot to Spencer. I know it does.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that he would really, really appreciate. So well done. Well done. And I know it's going to be a big one. So the Spencer Webb jersey, you're going to see that on the field, and it'll be worn by Cam coming up on Saturday. All right, I want to end with a couple high notes for you, okay? Are you a super senior? What are you?
I'm not sure. This is year 7, I think.
So you're a 7th year.
7th year, yeah. 7th year.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought about
And I still have
you.
and I still have eligibility for one more, but
So you're coming back, baby.
No, I don't know yet. We have to see.
Yeah. So it's funny, I was writing like the description for the show, right? And I always write, like, senior tight end.
Yeah.
And I just wrote veteran tight end.
I like that, veteran.
I think you're just a veteran.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that. 7th year. That just sounds. I like veteran.
I like veteran
I
too.
think veteran's the way.
We can keep it with that.
Keys to success for you as an individual, for the entire team. What's on your mind heading into game 2?
Having fun. It's just football. I don't think we can't oversee that. Just playing hard, playing fast, being confident in the game, knowing what we're going into the game plan with, and trusting our teammates. I think that's all we can do. Play fast, physical, have fun.
Play fast, physical, have fun. That's going to be my motto for the rest of the week. I like that. You've done a lot of these over your career. And I like to ask every veteran at the end of their career if there's anything, one, that you want fans to know about you. Like, what's something that no one like me has ever asked you before that you wish we had asked you about so that fans could know about?
That's a good question.
You can think about it.
I'm not sure.
All right, that means maybe we have done complete interviews with you.
Yeah.
Wow. I like that. And not all those questions came from me, let's be honest, because you've done a lot of these. Can you even count how many of these you've done by now, interviews?
No, not really.
More than you can count.
More than I can count, for sure.
Well, I hope that this was one of the more enjoyable ones.
Definitely was.
Hey, thanks for what you've done for this program, in all seriousness. I think a lot of fans, man, I see it on social media. I hear from a lot of fans that are like, God, this guy, man, just the adversity. So congratulations on what's going to be a tremendous year.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Cam
Cam McCormick, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, Jerry and Jorgie back with us, some keys to success. Guys, we're tied in our picks. Did you know that? Yes. Yeah. I have the lead going into the night session. A little bitter about it. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studios. Jerry, Jorgie, and Joy, and Game 2. And let's go to Game 2. I'm looking forward to this
home
week.
Opener.
Me too.
Yeah, home opener. Wear yellow. Wear yellow. I know
Yellow.
we started the season saying wear black, but the weather's going to be warm, so going to yellow to help out the fans. And I hope that fans will turn out and play their part. I want to show Coach Dan Lanning what Autzen Stadium can be like. And I know sometimes when you're playing an early season non-conference game, people don't get excited. You want to get excited for this team, for the new coaching staff.
Yeah, you do.
No doubt about it.
It'll be a nice night. It'll be a warm night, but it'll be a nice night. And that sun will be almost down.
Yeah.
You know, when the game starts, it'll be under the lights eventually, and I can't wait to watch this game. You know, Eastern Washington always brings a lot of fireworks to wherever they go. I'm hoping there's no fireworks that night, and Oregon's defense is able to really shut down that Eastern Washington offense. But we've seen it before when they've come here, let alone borrowing Vernon Adams for a year and what he brought to the table and what he did before when he was at Eastern Washington. So
well, and you know, I think about with that program has changed coaches since the last time they were here, but yeah, they always seem to score points. And look, if you're Eastern Washington, you're coming in and swinging away, right?
You got
nothing to lose. I mean, this is a huge opportunity for them too. So, yeah, I think this is a big game for the Ducks, and I think, you know, I love what Coach Lanning was talking about, that there are always things that you can work on, and they know that it wasn't to their standard last week, right? Coach could have not said that, but instead, Coach came in here and said, hey, that was not to our standard, and so now it's a chance to go prove something, an opportunity. I feel like the team has kind of embrace that this week. I mean, you've been at practice a little more than me this week, Jerry, but I feel like they've embraced that.
No, there's a little intensity. I mean, not that they weren't intense and practicing hard and getting ready for the Georgia game. They were. I mean, they knew what was on the line. But after you suffer a loss in a game like that, you can go one of two ways. You can go like, oh, okay, there goes the season. I don't know if I can do this. Or you can pick your head up and say, okay, I didn't do the best I could do. I need to do better. And I think that's what we're seeing in practice this week. So, like Coach said, he thought it was one of the best practices they've had this year on Tuesday. So I'm feeling good about this. But Eastern Washington, I mean, Aaron Best starred when he played at Eastern Washington. He was a great player, and they continued to throw the ball all over the field, all over the field.
Yeah. I really hope that we see a Webb 18 catch touchdown.
Yeah, that would be neat, wouldn't it?
God, that would be cool. I didn't want to say that while Cam was in here. But, man, this is a game where Cam McCormick's going to wear that Spencer Webb jersey, and that's just – there's so much more going on than just football in a moment like that. And, God, what a cool moment that's going to be.
Yeah.
What a cool moment.
It's something to put football on a pedestal and say win at all odds, win at all cost. If you don't win, it's not successful, until you realize that the human beings who are playing that game are young men who suffer losses much the same as we do if we lose a family member or a brother or a good friend. So, yeah, it's an eye-opener. So,
well, you know, look, this is just me for a second, but like what Cam was talking about with ACL, injury, complication from surgery, injury right when he gets back after a huge catch at Ohio State, which was a difference maker in that game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just everything that he's been through now. And then to come in and just seeing him doing the interview, I don't know, guys. I get ready now for a game like this, and I go, football's football, that's going to happen. But, man, just seeing that team and the way that they're going to rally in a lot of different ways on Saturday, that's going to be you won't want to miss that at Autzen.
No.
You won't want to miss that this weekend.
And I think we need to maybe start a little something, because he said he's got another year.
Yeah,
I know.
I was just thinking that too. I was thinking maybe that's year 8 right there.
So why? I mean, I understand he said he was schooled out. I feel like Dr. McCormick's got a nice ring to it.
I think it does. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Sorry, Cam. I don't know if you're going to want to do that or not.
Well,
you got a whole
talk
year
about
to
taking classes. I mean, what classes are left for him to take? Unless,
I know.
Well, you get the master's. You know, you're
another master's degree.
Gee.
Pretty cool though. I mean,
it's a great story.
And like I said, if there is a silver lining to all the injuries that he's dealt with, I mean, man, what an opportunity to get a great education. You know, and that's awesome. But, 1 year left.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, everybody, he didn't say, no, I'm not coming back. He said, no, I don't know yet.
Yeah. No, I picked up on that. I picked up on that.
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, I heard that.
He did say it. That's how he
I heard that. I heard that. Yeah.
So, Cam, we're rooting for you.
Never say never, Mr. Bond.
That's right.
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And by the way, what a coaching moment, too, for high school coaches, kids sports coaches, whatever. If you've got a youngster who is going through adversity with injuries or whatever, point to the University of Oregon, Cam McCormick. There you go. Great lessons to be learned. It's so fun being a part of all this, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
is.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, you get to know the players and the coaches at a level that's different than the fans, and you have an appreciation for that. And hopefully we can get that across to you, too. They're real people. They're real people. All right, 3:30 pregame show.
3:30 pregame.
We're still tied.
Yeah.
So all those picks all over the place.
God, on Friday picks, I'm up by 2 going into the night games.
Terrible.
Yeah, we're all tied at 9.
I could have been 4 down to you after the first week. 3?
Yeah, that was mathematically possible.
Yes. I'll take it. Okay. 3:30 pregame show. We'll do our picks Friday.
Yeah.
Again, and we're going to be in the studio, so we'll do that on Friday.
I guess.
You had us. You just couldn't put us away.
Well, it's week 1.
Yeah, it's right. It's a long,
week
long
1.
season. It's a long season. 3:30 pregame show. 5:30 the kickoff. Wear yellow.
Wear yellow
for this Saturday's game against Eastern Washington. The Eagles will fly in, and the Ducks will dominate the Eagles. But that'd be a fun battle in the air, wouldn't it? Oh, I digress. Bye-bye. God bless everybody.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.